Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Divedi, and in this segment we are going to discuss about objective questions to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. Consider the following statements. BCG or 𝐵𝐶𝐢 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐬 is a vaccine for tuberculosis disease. India is one of the three countries bearing the largest share of the global burden of TB cases along with Indonesia and Russian Federation. We have to select the correct statement. So yes, BCG is a vaccine for tuberculosis. This is correct. A lung disease. And India is one of the three countries bearing the largest share of the global burden of TB cases along with Russia and China and not Indonesia. So the second statement is incorrect. The correct answer to this question is option A, that is one only. The centenary celebrations of the discovery of insulin have eclipsed another seminal event in the history of medicine that has had a significant impact on human health, the first use of BCG, the vaccine against TB in humans. Moving ahead, we have discussed both the statements, so we shall move forward to the next question. Consider the following statements. Bureau of Indian Standards, that is BIS, has published an Indian standard for identification, marking and labeling of Pashmina products to certify its purity. Traditional producers of Pashmina wool are people known as Shangpa. We have to select the correct statement. Yes, traditional producers are known as Shangpa of Pashmina wool, and the first statement is also correct. The correct answer to this question is option C, both 1 and 2. The Center for Excellence has been set up by a shawl trader who owns the 𝐸&K brand and 𝐈𝐀𝐒 Birla Group at the Old Cities, Narwara area to restore the lost hand-driven processes involved in the intricate shawl weaving industry here. Pashmina shawls are a fine variant of shawls spun from Kashmir wool. Bureau of Indian Standards has published an Indian standard for identification, marking and labeling of Pashmina products to certify its purity, and we have discussed the second statement, so we shall move forward. Consider the following statements with regard to Infrastructure Investment Trust, InvITs. They are designed to pool small sums of money for investment in infrastructure projects and are regulated by RBI. They are suitable for high net worth individuals. We have to select the correct statement. As we know that infrastructure projects, they have very long gestation periods. That means investment and return, they have a huge gap. So they are very suitable for high net worth individuals of whom small savings can be pooled together for infrastructure projects. But they are not regulated by RBI. They are regulated by Securities and Exchange Board of India regulation of 2014. Okay. So the second statement is incorrect. The first and the third are correct. The correct answer is option C. Recently, the NITI Aayog has recommended bringing in policy and regulatory changes to scale up monetization instruments like InvITs and real estate investment trust as a critical element for success of the national monetization pipeline. Infrastructure investment trust, we have discussed about it, the first, the second and the third statement. Okay, so SEBI 2014 regulation are directed towards infrastructure investment trust. Moving on, the minimum investment amount in an InvIT, we should know about the IPO of it, is rupees 10 lakh. Therefore, InvITs are suitable for high net worth individuals, institutional and non-institutional investments. Moving on, consider the following statements. Global Environment Outlook is published by the United Nations Environment Programme. UNEP is headquartered at Washington, D.C., United States. The permanent representative of India to UNEP is India's High Commissioner for Kenya. Moving on, we have to select the correct statement. Okay, there is an anomaly in the second and the third statement. Let's normalize it. The permanent representative of India to UNEP is India's High Commissioner for Kenya, and therefore, if we talk about its headquarters of UNEP, it's in Nairobi, Kenya, and not in Washington, D.C. So the second statement is incorrect. The Global Environment Outlook is published by the United Nations Environment Programme. This is correct. Okay. First and third are correct, second is incorrect. The correct answer is option B. Recently, the UNEP announced that the use of leaded petrol has been eradicated from the globe, a milestone that will prevent more than 1.2 million premature deaths and save world economies over $2.4 trillion annually. The UNEP is a leading global environmental authority established on 5th of June 1972, and the major reports published by it are Emission Gap Report, Global Environment Outlook, Frontiers, Invest into Healthy Planet. Headquartered at Nairobi, Kenya, the permanent representative of India to UNEP is India's High Commissioner for Kenya. Moving on, consider the following pairs. Hydropower projects, we have to match them with the rivers. Tehri Dam is on the 𝐵agirathi river, Tapovan Vishnugarh on Alaknanda, and Vishnugarh 𝐶𝐽 𝐏𝐺𝐼 river. We have to select the pairs which is or are correctly matched. So, Tapovan and Vishnugarh, this is belonging to 𝐏𝐺𝐼, okay, and the Vishnugarh 𝐶𝐽 belongs to Alaknanda, okay. So, both of them have been interchanged. These two are incorrect. The first is correct. Tehri is on 𝐵agirathi. So, the correct answer to this question is option A, one only. Recently, the central government has said that no new hydropower projects would be allowed in the upper reaches of the Ganga, and those sanctioned would have to abide by environment regulations that prescribe a minimum flow in the river at all times of the year to preserve its health. Tehri Stage 2 is a 1000 megawatt project on 𝐵agirathi river, and Tapovan Vishnugarh is a 520 megawatt project on 𝐏𝐺𝐼 river. Vishnugarh 𝐶𝐽 is a 444 megawatt project on Alaknanda river. Let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements. Small finance banks are registered as a public limited company under the Companies Act of 2013. Small finance banks cannot set up subsidiaries to undertake non-banking financial activities. So, we have to select the incorrect statement. Actually, both these statements are correct. None of them are incorrect. The correct answer is option D, neither 1 nor 2. The Reserve Bank of India said that it has received applications from 2 more entities, 𝐃𝐨𝐼𝐬 Financial Holdings Private Limited and Tally Solutions Private Limited, seeking licenses to operate small finance banks. These are registered as a public limited company under the Companies Act of 2013, and SFBs, they cannot set up subsidiaries to undertake non-banking financial services activities. Let's move forward and consider the following statements with respect to Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. It operates as an autonomous body through the Societies Registration Act of 1860, and it is funded through the Ministry of Commerce and Industries. We have to select the correct statement. So, yes, it is an autonomous body which is registered under the Societies Registration Act of 1860, and it is funded by the Ministry of Science and Technology and not Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So, second one is incorrect. The correct answer is option A, that is one only. CSIR, in collaboration with National Geophysical Research Institute, have undertaken high-resolution aquifer mapping and management in arid regions of northwestern India to augment the groundwater resources, which are very scarce in northern India, northwestern India. CSIR is the largest research and development organization in India. It was established in September in the year 1942, located at New Delhi, funded by Ministry of Science and Technology, operates as an autonomous body through the Societies Registration Act of 1860. Let's move ahead. We have to talk about the statements with respect to tropical cyclones. The formation and initial development of a cyclonic storm depends upon the transfer of water vapor and heat from the warm ocean. It encourages formation of massive vertical cumulus clouds due to convection with condensation of rising air above the ocean surface. We have to select the correct statement. So, as the warming up of the oceans have occurred, the instances and frequency of the cyclonic storms, tropical cyclonic storms, have also occurred. It is increasing and it will increase in the future as well. And the formation, how it forms, and the initial development, the nascent stage, it depends on the transfer of water vapor, because the more the heat, the more the water vapor will be there, and that is from the warm ocean. We need more than 27 degrees Celsius of temperature. Keep that in mind, because this could be asked in prelims, or if we talk about the formation of nascent stage of tropical cyclones. And then once it is done, it will encourage the formation of cumulus clouds due to the convection. Certain keywords are there: convection with condensation of rising air above the ocean surface. So these two statements are correct. The correct answer to this question is option C, both 1 and 2. Hurricane Ida has weakened to a tropical storm with sustained wind of 60 mph. The primary hazard will be life-threatening flash flooding, but dangerous storm surges, damaging winds, and tornadoes continue to be threats. Tropical cyclones are very violent storms that originate over oceans in the tropical areas and move over to the coastal areas, bringing about large-scale destruction caused by violent winds, very heavy rainfall, and storm surges. Tropical cyclones are one of the most devastating natural calamities in the world. They originate and intensify over warm tropical oceans, and we have discussed the first statement, also the second. So we shall move forward. The 38th parallel divides which of the following two countries? Uruguay and Paraguay, Vietnam and Thailand, North Korea and South Korea, Afghanistan and Pakistan. 38th parallel divides the Korean peninsula into North and South Korea. So the correct answer to this question is option C. The International Atomic Energy Agency has said that North Korea appears to have restarted its Yongbyon nuclear reactor. In a report, the agency said that the laboratory had been operating since July 2021, suggesting that it handled a full batch of spent fuel. Plutonium, which is used for nuclear weapons, is believed to be produced at the reactor's complex. And as you can see with the help of this map, the 38th parallel is dividing North and South Korea. Okay, let's move forward and talk about the next question. 𝐸𝐾𝐻 or 𝐸𝐺, recently seen in the news, refers to which of the following? New vaccine developed for COVID-19, or a drug which has been indigenously developed in India, immunity booster approved by WHO, or a cocktail of two antibodies. So vegan or region, whatever you want to pronounce it as, it is a proper noun. This is actually a cocktail of two antibodies given to Donald Trump when he was infected with COVID-19. So region or 𝐸𝐾𝐻, a cocktail of two antibodies that was administered to former US President Donald Trump when he was infected with SARS-CoV-2 can help prevent high-risk patients from being hospitalized with COVID-19. A new study has found that. It is developed by US-based biotechnology company Regeneron Pharmaceuticals. Also, the drug was given emergency use authorization by the US Food and Drug Administration in November last year. Let's move forward. Consider the following statements with respect to Panjshir Valley. The name Panjshir means 5 peaks. The Panjshir Valley is a valley in north-central Afghanistan, 150 kilometers north of Kabul, near the Hindu Kush mountain range. In April 2004, it became the heart of a new Panjshir province, having previously been part of Parwan province. We have to select the correct statement. The name Panjshir is actually 5 lions and not 5 peaks. Panjshir, okay? So the first statement is incorrect. Yes, it is a valley in the north-central Afghanistan, which is 150 kilometers north of Kabul, near Hindu Kush. Again, keywords. And in April 2004, it became the new heart of Panjshir province. It was previously a part of Parwan province. So the second and the third are correct. The first is incorrect. The correct answer to this question is option B, 2 and 3. The Panjshir Valley in Afghanistan is the last remaining holdout where anti-Taliban forces seem to be working on forming a guerrilla movement to take on the fundamentalist group. We have discussed the second statement, right? And the third as well. And the first, 5 lions. Moving ahead, Let's look at the practice question. Consider the following statements. The Election Commission of India was made a multi-member body in 1989 and the Election Commissioner holds office for a term of 6 years or until they attain the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. The SWEEP initiative is a flagship program of ECI for voter education. We have to select the correct statement. So I hope you'll be answering it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.